Hey everybody, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. And how's everybody doing? We have 30 minutes of awesome. Glad to have everybody. Looks like Logan's here, Infinity's here, Leah's here, Jessica, Philip. Jessica, I don't recognize your name. Maybe you've been around, but welcome. Philip, Brandon, Greg, Jason, good afternoon. We'll do requests in a few minutes. Give me a minute. I got some exciting news to share. And for those of you in the VIP group, you know what I was doing this afternoon. For the person that set it up, Wrongimer, guess what? Dun 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 dun! I went and got to preview, sit in, check out. Didn't get to drive, unfortunately, a Cybertruck, but I thought I'd share with everybody my first impressions, and it's kind of exciting. Got to see it in real live person. This was a founders edition, whatever you want to call it, foundation edition truck. It was lasered in several places on the truck, and actually got to get inside it, check it out, and it was pretty dang nice, I have to say. Pretty nice. Got to sit there in the showroom, check it out, right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Like I said, Wrongimer kind of hooked me up with this. Pretty sweet deal. And it's got nice rubber floor mats. I mean, this was pretty cool, I have to say. Got to check out all the storage compartments, all the front trunk, the back trunk, the tonneau cover. We let the tailgate down. I didn't grab a picture of that, but that's pretty dang neat. The stainless steel, much thicker than you would expect. The doors, freaking massive freaking doors. Definitely a pretty cool truck, I have to say. For those of you that don't like the thing, I don't know what to tell you. But I definitely thought it was pretty dang cool to get to check it out, and there it is. So right here in the showroom in Knoxville. If you want to go see it, if you're in Knoxville, you can go down there and sit in it, as long as nobody else is sitting in it. And I got to check it out by myself for a few minutes before a few other people came in the room, and it just pretty dang cool. I just have to say. So anyway, well, the next version substitute a wraparound windscreen. I don't know. I don't know what they got in store. I'm still about 38,000th in line, I guess. Wrongimer was suggesting they're making about 60 a day ish, and this one had a price tag on it. It was a $79,000 base price and like a $20,000 foundation edition upgrade. So there you go. There you go. And that's a pretty sweet truck. One of the things that really gets my attention, this tonneau, this waterproof tonneau thing built in. I drive an Avalanche right now. It's pushing 21 years old, and I freaking love the tonneau built in, locked up, integrated. This thing has floor drains and all sorts of stuff, and so that's one of the key reasons I'm attracted to this vehicle over many of the other options. Sure, you can add a tonneau to things, but it's not integrated. Doesn't come part of the deal. So that's one of the things that's attracted to me to this truck over others. And I just keep waiting. Who knows how long? Another 2-3 years. So anyway, there you go. There you go. That was fun this afternoon. So anyway, I mean, I'm not too big. I wouldn't actually be too keen on an EV that flies. I mean, the power density of batteries is not as great as liquid fuel. So a flying liquid fuel thing would be much more interesting to me. So yeah, I've had the 03 Avalanche since it was new back in 2003, and I got a Chevy Nova, and so what else I got? I got a Subaru that my son drives. So anyway, all right. Hey, submarine I mean that version, that supposedly the Cybertrucks are temporarily boat-like, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Welcome to 30 Minutes of Awesome. So, earnings continue. Earnings continue. That was a little bit of fun this afternoon. Going to do that. The earnings are continuing, and I just lost my. I just lost what I was going to show. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Anyway, let me pop this up and grab the list. If you're going to make requests, just hold off. Wait a minute. We'll get to requests here in just a minute. Let me go through the normal stuff I go through before we get to requests. So we'll hit that in just a few minutes. Just a few minutes. All right, here are the earnings this week. We've already had Caterpillar, McDonald's. Caterpillar went crazy. Palantir, however you want to say it. I don't know. We got Lilly this morning, Spot taking off, Hertz, and then this afternoon here this evening, Snap, Enphase, Ford, Chipotle, Elf, Beauty, the VF Corporation, AMZN, Gilead. Tomorrow morning before the open, we got Baba, Uber, CVS, Roblox, XPO Logistics, whole bunch of stuff. Then after the close tomorrow, PayPal, Walt Disney, ARM, and Wyndham Resorts. I think that's Wyndham Resorts. Or Wynn Casinos. Can't remember which one it is. They're resorts. Paycom, Mattel, and Nally. It's a big real estate investment trust. Then it's a packed week. Really, I mean, I can sit here and read them all to you. You see the logos. This is posted in Discord if you want it. If you're not in Discord, link is down below. It's like $5 to come be a member if you want to do that. If that's something you want to do. Now, I would be remiss if I don't go ahead and hit this. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, financial instrument or otherwise. If you desire that personal financial advice, you got to hire, consult a financial advisor, and make sure it's somebody you trust. All right. The whole point of this: don't buy or sell anything from anybody you don't trust. Me included. Don't buy stuff from me if you don't trust me. If you don't, you haven't been here for a little bit and understand and know who I am and what I'm about, don't buy stuff from me. Don't buy stocks, don't buy options, don't buy futures, don't buy Forex, don't buy cryptos, don't buy bonds, don't long them, don't short them. You might lose money. You probably will lose money. There's a substantial risk of loss anytime you trade. So just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. All right. It's my mission to try to help people cut out some of the crap, but that's difficult. We all make bad decisions. So I keep looking over here because there's the chat over there. Anyway, all right. Yeah, I love the Avalanche. The ride's really good. And it's just got some 21-year-old vehicle problems. Like occasionally the blinker doesn't come on. Occasionally, I just had to put a new motor in it last year. Spun a bearing and put glitter through the engine. AutoZone amazingly had an engine in stock. You just go down there and pick it up and bring it back, put it in. So it was down for about 4 days and then right back up. Anyway, so there we go. I mean, I like the 03 because it's not hooked to anything. Like they can't turn off your battery. Rungermer's freaked me out with all the stuff he can show me about cars in the shop and stuff like that. It's kind of like being on the internet. He's got apps and he can just like pop in and see where the car is. And I mean, they can disable it or what. It's kind of like you own it, but you don't own it. Tesla still owns it. It's kind of a weird concept, I guess you might say. Anyway, moving on. It's my, I can't help but think about the movie Idiocracy. It's driving along. What's wrong? Well, they just turned off my battery. I mean, it's so becoming true. I mean, when that movie, a parody turned reality, or turned what do they call it, the prophecy. If you haven't seen Idiocracy, you should watch it. You'd be like, oh my gosh, it's too close to reality. So anyway, alrighty, moving on. So welcome everybody. Next week, we got CPI and PPI coming up. That's the big stuff. This week, not really much happening economic news-wise. We do have a bunch of Fed members speaking I guess they're going to massage the narrative a little bit off the FOMC meeting last week. But the next big major stuff is the CPI and PPI coming in hot next week. So we'll see what happens there. And after we get through kind of the little market digest that we normally do, we'll hit 30 minutes of your request. But hold off. Wait till I say go. And remember, one request per person. If you make more than one request in one message, I'm going to ignore all of your requests and then give somebody else a chance to go. And then we'll go again. Then you can go again. All right. So wait till I say now. Wait. Don't go early. I might lose it in the messages here. So just give it a chance here. All right. Give me a chance to run through some market stuff. That's the morning show. So we're going to pop up to the normal red list here and hit some of the highlights. Usually we go through the futures, like the S&P. Just keeps being ridiculous here. Just keeps making ridiculous highs. And seems to be a little instability here. We were getting some flashes up and down today, and we may very well pop it right up here to this 5150 area. That's kind of what I expect, actually. So we just pop it up before we do something else. And the something else is probably a big down. If you want to know more about that, go watch the morning show replay. I'm not going to recap all the stuff, but it's out there. It's out there. All right. In Q, rocky. We're getting a little bit of flash here too. This is indicative of hunting for a top. Can we go rocketing off some more? Sure. But, you know, we consolidate here, then we pop a little bit, consolidate more, pop a little bit, consolidate more, pop a little bit. One of these pops is going to be the last pop. So be careful. I say it all the time. Russell, interestingly enough, we got a little bit of chop here today. We kind of an inside day on Russell. Yeah, we're kind of seeing an inside day on everything. Inside 2 days ago for NQ, inside 2 days ago for ES, and Russell bounced a little bit, but seeing kind of an inside day here. Trading inside the range of yesterday. Not really pushing lower, not really pushing higher. We did see that just a few days back on Thursday, and then we kind of opened up with a down and then a bigger down, and then now we're inside again and still give a downward bias. This still looks kind of corrective. 1 wave down, 3 wave retrace. We need that last final flush out. You know, this can be done anywhere lower. This correction right now could be done anywhere lower than this right here. I do expect either the roadmap line or this more ideal target down here, but we don't have to do either. So anything lower than that, and we can be done on this correction for Russell. So, and inside bars are just indecision until it breaks out. It can break out, or it can break up or break down. It's not really. I'm not a big candlestick pattern person. I'm a price pattern person. Not really a candlestick pattern. That's why I like this chart right here, this simplified chart I show off all the time. It just kind of cuts out some of the noise. You don't have to worry about. You know, we're just grinding higher, probably up into this zone. Kind of held this target for a long time, right up in here, and probably go hit it. But then what happens? Now, one of the possibilities is we go on an even more crazy exponential run right up to 6,000. Entirely possible that we kind of do that, but not exactly what I think's gonna go. How much was that ride? So it was like I said, it was the foundation edition was a 79, like a $80,000 base price, basically. I think 79.9, and then they had a $20,000 foundation edition markup on that thing. So that's what that baby was. All right. So moving on, oil. Well, let's go back to the candle chart because that's where I've really got it marked up here. Oil. I was kind of expecting a retest of this uptrend of the lows, and then we'll see what happens. We could go a little higher. This is where I ultimately think we may test resistance before we push down again, if down is going to be the direction. Not sold on anything at the moment. Sideways. That's why the big blue arrow's there. Sideways is more what I expect than anything else. And Brent oil still kind of holding an uptrend here. Interestingly enough, this is oil from Europe. and just more tightly holding the uptrend. We just barely poked down, just barely holding on the bottom of that, versus CL that actually kind of pushed below a little bit. And I guess I wasn't so sloppy, and we went all the way to the lows, just kind of bouncing off the bottom of the lows maybe. But looking at the bottom of the candles, it looks to be more firm, I guess you might say. We're kind of below it. It looks like a more defined level than the candle bottoms that seem to not be all in a line. Depends on what you think, I guess. Giving a little bias to the downside at this point because that was a 3-wave corrective right in the roadmap line, and usually we see some continuation lower. We kind of have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could get a 5th wave flush, and then we could get a 3-wave correction and then a bigger flush. So caution, highly cautious right now on oil because it looks like we've set up a downside move over continued bullishness. RBO looks a bit more bullish. Interesting here. We're seeing a shortage in distillates here in the United States. This is actually looking, while it is overlapping, this low overlaps this prior high over here. That's not the greatest pattern, but this is looking a little stronger for continued bullishness than the CL chart. You see, these lows are much more defined here, and we made a much higher low at this point. So this can be a nested 1-2-1-2 set up for a much larger upside. And gasoline prices are one of the things that's gasoline and diesel prices, one of the things that's gonna wreck the inflation numbers if we actually go full bullish. And distillates, like I said, not exactly strong. We're seeing a high demand on distillates. And heating oil, which is basically diesel fuel, showing a even much more bullish type pattern here than we're seeing in gasoline. So this is, I was warning, Rongamer drives a diesel car, and I was warning him that this may get him diesel prices. So if you drive something diesel, right now this is looking pretty bullish, and we may see some higher prices. The next layer of resistance up here at 320, and then if we break out, we could see $4, possibly even some crazy numbers on diesel. Natural gas. Oh, looky here. Don't you love it when a prediction comes to pass within, okay, 2.009. I think that's 2. I said 2. I'm pretty sure that's 2. What's the low? Low is $1.99. So there you go. $1.997. I got it. Once again. Sometimes I get lucky on these things. So right there, I said $2. We just hit $2 today. I don't know. Sometimes I get lucky. Right there it was. We may push on down to the bottom of the box, the bottom of the range that we set. We set this range all the way back here in April. Well, kind of set it in February and then April again. Made these lows. We may push down to a lower low than we saw in April. But I was expecting, from all the way back here in August, I was saying we're going back to the bottom. It took it a little longer than I thought. We tried our darndest to break out twice, 3 times, I guess, and right back down to the bottom. Man, you'd think I'd do this for a living or something sometimes. GC, still kind of bearish on GC. We have the way this price action is pretty gnarly, and we need this would look very clean and good if we can get a flush right down lower than what we had in December. We get a lower low than that off of that first initial retrace. If we get one more low, lower than that, clean this thing up, and we can go higher on gold finally. Silver looks like it wants to do one more flush down. Also, kind of set up this very proportional head and shoulders, and one more flush down could clean that one up too. Look really nice. Copper. This is a messy freaking chart right here. Just continues to be a messy freaking chart. And let's go to a weekly chart. And you can see it a lot better here on the weekly. Nice first move down, kind of a three-wave-ish, just a sloppy overlapping retrace, and then this consolidation that hasn't really gone anywhere. And one pop down to something lower than what we made right back here in July 22 would clean up the copper chart. And you may be like, well, JT, copper doesn't move that fast. Look at that. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. We could do that, and we could be down there in just a few weeks. 1 month, we could flush this baby out pretty dang fast. Look at that. Take us right down there, right near the target. 5 weeks. And we could get out of this garbage we're in right now. So this one, combined with some of the other stuff I've seen in the market, makes me very cautious right now. So lumber actually breaking out of this kind of wedge that it's been in for a little while. That could take us higher on lumber. We don't have the old lumber chart. They changed the lumber contract, so we don't have the old lumber anymore. And yeah, that doesn't look good for inflation if lumber breaks out and starts running again. Why do I keep up with some of this stuff? Because it kind of tells us where we are. Now, housing tried to break out and has drifted lower with a lower high. That may be on its way back down to the roadmap line at this point. We might see that one retrace pretty violently. It's interesting, I think, right there. All right. Now, everybody wants to know Bitcoin, I'm sure. The main event coming up on Bitcoin, and we're probably going to see some sort of FOMO rally as we get a little closer in to that FOMO, to the halving event. If you're not aware what the halving event is, it's where the mining rate, the pay rate for mining Bitcoin gets cut in half. That's coming up here in 10,734 more blocks, about 72 more days, 72 and a half days. And we may see a little bit of this FOMO. People trying to get in on the action, thinking that Bitcoin's going to run crazy on halving. But here's the thing. It doesn't typically run at halving. It takes 3 to 6 months to find a bottom after halving. And then we go on the run, and it usually takes 220. It's, past the halving. Take the halving event as day 0, halving event. It's usually 220 to 240 days on average to the new high. That's a new all-time high. So on Bitcoin, we're talking about a new high above 69,000 and change right there where we had the high. 60, it was right around 69,000. I'm not on the correct candle. Like 69,007 or something like that was the all-time high. And so we're looking at where does 230 days puts us? It puts us right out here in December. So it may be December of this year before we spike an all-time high on Bitcoin. So this thing may pull back off of the halving down into this zone before, like, into the summertime. Could even be into the fall, and then we go on some epic run higher. So we may see some FOMO action higher into the halving, then some disappointment, some sell the news on. I thought the halving event was going to be super bullish, and it just kind of does this lackluster thing for a couple weeks, months, and then we start actually running. We've seen it play out exactly like that pretty much every time. See, last time we ran into the halving, farted around sideways, didn't really do anything, pop and drop, and then we went on the run. The time before that was even, it took, we kind of lackluster, then starting to run a little bit, starting to run, big run. Now, I'm just talking about the 200 days being to a new high. So when we look at, this back in here on this event, that new high, that new high took place right up in here. And then we went on the epic run. That 240 days is just to the new all-time high. So right there, that halving event went a little faster in the early days back in 13. Then we went on the epic run higher. Then we went on the crypto winner, the severe retrace that we see every time where we retrace 70 to 80%. Then we hyped it up and we ran up, made a new all-time high. Then we went on the epic run. Then we retraced it back out, went back down, crypto winner, lost 70 to 80% of the value. Everybody thought it was going to bust once again. Then we ramped up into the halving event, kind of got some excitement. And then we went lackluster. Then we ramped up, new all-time high. Things started getting a little sparky. Then we got a lot sparky, retraced a bit, then spiked the new, the all-time high right there, the current one. And we lost 70 to 80% of the value again, back down to 15,000. This time, every time we've gone from the lows of the retrace to the high of the next move has been 10 to 20x. So whatever the low is back here before having, whatever the lowest low is, we typically will go 10 to 20x on the next spike higher. So right now, our lowest low was around 15,000. So that puts us on about 150 to 300,000 as the projected target. And this will probably won't play out this year. It'll probably be next year before we actually get that higher high. I mean, the way, that next all-time high that's going to stay for a little while. Then late into 25, we'll probably start pulling back. 26 probably be crypto winter. Everybody say Bitcoin's going out of business again. We'll probably pull back to about the $70,000, $60,000, $70,000 area. Once again, everybody will be bummed out on Bitcoin, and then we'll start this whole process again in 2028. So, any questions on that, you can let me know. But that's kind of the halving cycle in a nutshell. Now, there's some speculation that we're going to have an ETF, a spot ETF approval on Ethereum, and that we may see this thing rocket higher. That spot ETF roughly around the May timeframe at this point, but they may punt on it and it may not get super sparky. Now, Ethereum is fundamentally different than Bitcoin. There is no limit to the supply. It is controlled by a company and some individuals, as opposed to Bitcoin that's controlled by just public consensus. So there's some fundamental differences between Ether, and Bitcoin. And I don't know. I'm not convinced right now that this is a bullish chart like I am for Bitcoin. We don't have a halving cycle in here. We don't have any of those other type catalysts that we have like we do on Bitcoin. So that's the nutshell right there. So what's the best way to short Bitcoin? Short the ETFs, the spot ETFs. We now have 11 spot ETFs. We got stuff like IBIT, BlackRock's. Right here, you can short this baby. You want to short some Bitcoin? There you go. Go short that. We've got BRRR. That's Valkyries. We had FBTC. Fidelity's right there. We've got HODL. That's VanEck. And there's a variety of other ones. Can't remember what, I think ARKB. ARKS is right there. You notice all the charts look very similar. They've just got different prices. It's different different quantities of Bitcoin per share, and that kind of dictates the price here. Different basket sizes, their fund sizes are all over the place. Some of that can be found right down here, and I've talked about it in the past. So, yeah, there you go. So there's some information on that stuff. Now, you could go with a more liquid one that actually has some options, but this is not direct Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin futures right here. You could short this baby. You can buy puts here. And there's some short strategies. Like there's all sorts of craziness. Like if you want to do a leverage short, you can probably find that. It's not going to be on spot. It's going to be on futures. But there does exist some leveraged Bitcoin strategies. Like this one right here. 2x volatility shares, 2x strategy. You wanted to short that baby. That one's going to get you some outsized return to the downside with some puts. So, What's a Swiftie? Now that's my man Steven. He's a Taylor Swift fan. He changes his profile picture on Slack to Taylor Swift all the time. There's Wrongemer. Had to burn the Tesla oil before you could show up, eh? All right. Well, that's there you go. That's crypto in a nutshell. So, yeah, it's kind of a watermelon seed squeeze on copper. That is true. And funny enough, watermelon seed squeezes tend to be B waves. Now, is it a B wave up or a B wave down? That is the question. So, not sure which way that one's going to go. All right, it is time for requests. So, if you can put in one ticker only per person. If you put in multiples, I'm going to skip you. We're getting to that point where there's a lot of requests, and it's going to take a little while. All right, so I see PFE. One of the first ones I see. Looks like she's going down in a blaze of glory. Wow. Next target down 70 or 24. Ouch. Crush that target. Crush that target. There's the next one down. That's borderline dumpster fire, man, for something that probably isn't going to go out of business. Gee whiz. Cheese and crackers. That's a bad chart. All right. Millie. M-E-L-I. That one just keeps on rocking. And resistance is right there where we are. Nothing changed from last week. Still expect that retrace. We popped up, hit the target. I drew that retrace. Still expect it to come back. That's basically an echo of that last retrace. And then we can go higher again. So if we do the retrace right in that zone, it'd be right up there. 1840, 1905 would be the next targets up. And NVDA, you know, starting to show the cracks. That's exponential, and we got into the target zone. Down is what I expected after we got to this ultimate target zone. This was like the crazy target zone I put up here. I don't remember how long ago. And starting to show a little bit of. It's interesting. That's an expansion of range, but it ends up closing inside the previous day. So that's for you candle followers. That's one of those interesting patterns. I feel like where you get a bigger range, but it closes red, but it also has the rejection tail for going lower. We did see quite a strong rally right into the close there on ES. When we looked down at the smaller time frame, we were seeing pretty strong rally there right into the close. Came up off these lows. We were huge net negative on the day, even though we had just chopped. I mean, look at these sells. Sell, 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 sell. Like, that's not bullish price action. I've watched the market for a lot of years, and those are dangerous freaking candles. Buy, 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 buy. Giant sell. Buy, 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 buy. Giant. That's like somebody loading up short. They're waiting for the market to take it back higher, then they're buying they're buying their shorts, which is selling the futures. And it's not looking so great. No bueno, as somebody I know says. Anyway, all right. LED jumping around. Let's see what we got here. Where do you expect that to go? Significant resistance going higher right there. If we can get above that, we're going higher. But if we reject off that a third time, I would watch out below. That can be a wave, a B wave. Rocket on down. Definitely a cautionary chart right there. Roku bounced off the roadmap line. That was beautiful. Beautiful touch right there. Back above 99, 100 maybe. set up for 116, 126. That's a classic pattern for bouncing higher. You could buy aggressively now. Just know that if we break down below like 75, that it's probably game over for now. But yeah, I mean, you see that strong resistance there, right? Once, I mean, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times. 9 if you count that one, that we've tried to bust through this area. Only once were we successful briefly for a couple weeks, and then we came right back down. That is a significant resistance area built up right in there. Definitely be careful on that one. And IMX USD. IMX USD. Go with Binance. And so potential to go higher, although there's probably supply right there, and that's why it topped right there. If we hit that again, there could be selling pressure. This could be also, zoom it back up. Let's look at something here. High to the low. Oh yeah, we're right at resistance here. Resistance go higher. We may do a third wave down equal in size to this one. Maybe not duration, but size. And that would put us right in the roadmap line. So definitely watch this area right here. You see how we rejected it before, right there. If we can't, if we don't get like a daily close above that, we may be in store for this. Could just stop at the roadmap line wherever that comes in. Draw it over, moving the whole thing instead of just the line. So we may see it stop right in this zone. That's where we've got a confluence of support in this area. Something like that. Alrighty. By Ford, I'm guessing that you mean F. Tickers help me more than company names because while I do remember a vast quantity of the tickers, I don't remember them all. And sometimes I get confused. That right there is the struggle to going higher. We tried to break higher, we tried to break lower, and we ended up just right back in the middle of this freaking crazy, stupid stuff right here. This so far has not been the most bullish price action with these lower highs. You know, lower, tried, could still made lower. It'd look better if we just flushed it out, or we break out and go above all this crap. Long term, we may go higher, but lately they just can't get out of their own way with, and really interest rates are kind of plaguing the car industry all over the place. So it's kind of a problem. And we're seeing this kind of lackluster performance all over the place through car industries. There's a few outperformers, you know, like Race doing ridiculous stuff right there. But, you know, for the most part, we're seeing a lot of tough times for people that need to borrow money to buy the cars in particular. So VIST, that one looks like it's going to, I mean, look at these. It's almost like static, right? You kind of see how this, so kind of expect a retrace down to the lower end of the range here, if not the roadmap line. It's kind of hard to set that exactly right because it's kind of so staticky. And need to click on it. Control C, Control V. Put this up here. You can see that upper limit is kind of the limit right now for the move. So we hit that. The next move would probably be the top. We may be set for the top before we get to the bottom again. They try another breakout. It's kind of difficult to predict this though. That's very 3-wavy. There's not a lot of 5 waves in here, so that makes it very difficult. Although it's just a constant grind in the channel. Makes it unclear. But if it follows the pattern, we'll probably touch the top before we touch the bottom again. And NVDA. Kind of briefly already touched that one. I thought it's just ridiculous levels. And yeah, I see NVIDIA several times. Path is looking like we're coming back down here. Path is on the path to come back down. We tried to go fill that gap down right there. We tried to fill it. Only made it about halfway. Broke back down. Retested it. Now we're probably coming down here. Probably going to fill that gap down. Then if we find buyers and support, go at it again. That's path for you. All right. Flutter. So, as I've talked about, sometimes my chart pulls up a bunch of data. Sometimes it pulls up no data. That makes it incredibly difficult to consistently talk about this one. Right now, we're pulling up no data. You're going to love this. There we go. Pulled it up on the weekly chart. So we have this move where potentially we're going to go make a slightly higher high. Then retrace it again. It's kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, non-overlapping. Could get a fifth wave up, top out somewhere, maybe around this prior high right here. Then we'll probably get a deeper retrace and then a potential bigger up. Yeah, it looks better on log scale. Things that move more than $50, I like to put on log scale because then the proportions look much better. This retrace probably pop us up in there. That move, this move right here would be proportional to this move right here, right up into that top. That's why that target's where it is. So we're close, kind of close-ish to a potential top around this 220 to 250 area. Then we could see a move back down to 150 before we sell the bigger up. And that bigger up could take us up to like 800. That's Flute for you, Flutter Entertainment. FTNT. Nothing really changes much week to week on a lot of these. FTNT probably is going to be set up to go about up here. Big high time frame. It did a very deep retrace, but it looks like it's set. If we can break above this gap down, probably going to head right up here to about 120. And AVGO just keeps crushing it on upside targets. At some point, though, it's going to run out of juice, and we're going to do some sort of retrace. It's like, where did this giant retrace come from? It came from one of these prior retraces. Like this one over here. See that right there? That was a crazy big move up. Right after this crazy big move up, we did this long retrace. Another big crazy move up. Could expect another long retrace. It's just the way these things go. I would be very cautious and careful on AVGO. Chasing that one long right now. Already did PFE. Cold is a leveraged instrument. It's not going to help very much. So there you go. It's kind of like SVXY, but for natural gas. Upside target could be 138, but it's leveraged, and leveraged stuff doesn't always follow the pattern. So it's not really, the target here is not going to be super great. It might work, but it also might not work. It's got reverse splits in here, which makes them kind of a dumpster fire class of chart. So we could see this thing, if natural gas starts running again, this thing's going to plummet out. and get reverse split again. That's the way cold works. Apple. Remember, tickers, not company names. I know some of them, like Apple, but Home Depot, Lowe's, Tesla, Google. Apple just churning. Probably going to break out, go higher. Sideways is what I expect based on what it's done. There's the resistance. There's the support. So far, just continuing sideways. That's why the big arrow is there. Small arrow, if we break out, could head up here. Other arrow, if we break down, could head down here. Right now, sideways is the expectation. This one should actually be from up here. All right. That's what we got on Apple. Not a lot. EVLV. Evolve. Looks like stuck under the roadmap line. And low price stuff, again. So there's several things that don't follow patterns. It's leverage stuff, China stuff, biotech, medtech, low price stuff. And I think that was it. Leverage stuff, low price stuff, China stuff, and biotech, medtech, pharma, like anything FDA approved, like anything the FDA kind of regulates, doesn't always follow patterns. So that's and then there's a few other exceptions, like indexes that oscillate, like the S5FI. Oops, S5FI. Hit an extra key. This thing just oscillates between 20 and 80, basically. We get breakouts above and below. It's never going below 0, and it's never going above 100. And so far, we've seen this retracing deeply. This is S&P 500 stocks above their 50-day moving average. We've seen this retrace pretty deeply while the S&P 500 is grinding all-time highs. That's a huge divergence, and we haven't seen that divergence this as big as it is right now since 1987, right before Black Monday. Just throwing that out there. I talked about it this morning if you want to see more of that. So anyway, SYM. Oh, pushing down lower. Resistance is right down, or support, I mean, right down here. And it looks like we may go a little lower. 1, 2, 3. Could go right back down to here. Right there, and down to here would be, if that was the bigger one, if it echoes this move down off of this high right here, probably going down here. This was it. 1, 2, 3. We'll see. See where we get to. I have a couple shares. That's it. I'm down like, I don't know, $3, $5, something like that. All right. Walmart's rocking it, baby. Target is right there, 175. Then watch out. Last time we did the same move right here, right there, 1272, all the way down here. 1272, 175. That's the upside target that I would watch out. This thing's already flashed the warning light at you once. And it actually did it back here too. We got that 1618, 272, then whew. This time came up shorter. I'm not betting on that. I'd bet on that being resistance, going higher. And we've got a stock split coming up, 3 for 1. That'd be interesting. Alrighty. There's a stock split pattern. I don't remember it. There's like I think it's 3 different patterns, and it depends on what it does pre-split and the following day or two after the split. It determines which pattern you're on, whether it's the bullish pattern, bearish pattern, or sideways pattern. And there's 3 distinct patterns that happen, and it happens almost every split, almost exactly the same way. It's really eerie. It's one of the first patterns that I ever learned in the market, but I didn't find it all that tradable, so I've kind of forgotten it since way back when. I used to track it. Like there's like these benchmarks, like the day they announce the pattern, what happens, or the day they announce the split, what happens, then what happens on the X date, and what happens on, or what happens on the record date, the X date, and the day after it splits. And when you look at when you take those data points, it'll either be on one of those patterns or it's just the anomaly that's not going to work at all. And most of the splits follow one of the three paths, and then occasionally you get the oddball that just doesn't do, like, it breaks the pattern, and you kind of know it ahead of time because it doesn't meet the criteria leading up to the split. I probably have that on an audio CD. That was probably one of the first patterns I ever bought, and I used to track it like with Excel sheets and all sorts of stuff. It's interesting, I guess you might say. AMD showing some rockiness. That's a lower high. I was kind of expecting a bigger retrace back down to this area here once it ran out of gas. This is starting to look like this one may run out of gas way before the rest of the semiconductors. So SMCI is at ludicrous levels. How much higher can it go? I don't expect it to go over at 1100. It's kind of like the ultimate. If we get that high, it's going to be an epic down, and I'm probably going to buy. If we get to 1100, I'm probably going to buy 800 puts out as far as I can afford it and sit on that baby. That could be an epic return to earth. It's gone crazy. When they don't make sense, I can't stress to you how dangerous stuff is when it does that. The party's going to end. The lights come on at the bar. This one almost to the target. Look at that. Almost there. Took a little longer than I thought, like a year longer, but almost there. Technically, it's in the zone. And if we break down below that, though, 29 on the downside for DVN. TEX. T-Rex. Make the decking right. No, this is farm equipment. I get Trex and T-Rex mixed up. These guys make the high lifts. And stuck in the box. If we can break out, we can go, but it may very well find resistance. That's not the cleanest pattern up. We may get a retrace. NYCB. It's already a dumpster fire. It's no dumpster fire warning. I mean, it already pretty much did the dumpster fire. Like $4 to 0 is not very far at this point compared to $10 or $13 or whatever it used to be, dollars. I mean, it's like a bank that's probably going out of business. It's been a dumpster fire for a long time. Look at this. What makes you want to get involved in that? There's been no bullish action since a long time. There it is. Ah, look at that one. Exponential up. You see what it did? Ever since then. It's about to get back to the IPO price. Wow. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here. Watch out for this stuff. You see that, right? Everybody, I guarantee you, everybody knew this was keeping on going. And then we burn it down. That was a .com. Back of the .com. And died. Now it's even deader. All right. TSCO. Enough of that stuff in the past. Tractor Supply, looks like we're getting the sideways channel. There's the high, there's the low, there's the range. Tried to break out, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Can we do it this time? Maybe. That was a higher low. It's not the most bullish pattern I've ever seen, but could be set for something up in this zone. And rose. I guess you're meaning Rose USD. Probably gonna be. It's a 3-wave. That's a corrected move. Not too good. Not too good at the moment. Rejecting there was not good. That probably means we're going on down for now. Yep, right after 618. That one could very well retrace back on down. Find support here. And if we get below that, could go down here. And possibly extension down here. So there's your two targets on the downside if we don't get above, if it doesn't break out above this. So we double topped it right there, rejected that high both times, didn't break above. That sets it up to go lower in the last couple days here. Couldn't break above that resistance. Couldn't do it. If it does it now, still, that's fine. Like the upside is still 16, possibly 18. This would be the next upside right there. So if we get above here, probably cut up here. And PepsiCo has earnings on Friday. Looks pretty bearish to me. Hate to say that. It looks pretty dang awful. There's the support. There's the resistance. Could it pop? It could. Could it drop? It's probably, I would, it's probably like 65 down, 55 up. That's more than 100, yeah. 65, 45. 65 down, 45 up. Maybe closer than that. Maybe it's like, maybe it's like 58 down or 55 down, 45, yeah, 55, 45, something like that. Maybe even closer. Maybe it's only like 51, 49. Not too keen on that one. Square. If we get above here, going up. If we don't do anything sideways, which is maybe what we're doing. And if we break down, we could go deeper. Sideways is what I would expect. The deeper supports, let's draw that on here. Oh, I got it close. Right there. And if we start breaking down below here, coming on down here. Why I have not bought any square at this point. Waiting on that move, that break up higher. Block, sorry, block, not square. WYNN, win resorts. Resistance right there at 103. Target 126. If we reject that level, coming down here. There you go. This is the key resistance level right there. Earnings coming up tomorrow afternoon. Hey, the market's open again. And TTD is going down in a blaze of glory. And that looks pretty bearish at this point. Rejected off the roadmap line. Extensions down 59, 55. That's what we got. Glinda. Type it in, but TSE, Glinda. I don't see a Glinda. Typed in your name, I guess. Your name doesn't appear to be a ticker. All right, Nike. Looks like we're going on down. Let's clean this up a little bit. I want to remove my prior predictions here. We didn't break out. Still continuing down. We didn't even retest that trend line there. Low to high. Oh, yeah. The last line of support is kind of right here. We're in it. If we get below it, going on down here. Set your alert at 96. If we get below that, we're probably coming down here to 72 on Nike. DPZ is probably bearish. If we break down below this, we're probably coming on down. Three-wave up into resistance, turn it down. We kind of have that trend line going. Holding right at it. If we break down below that roadmap line, we break below that. Watch out below. Watch out below. Yeah, SCHW has support at the roadmap line. So zooming this one up right here. Retrace to the roadmap line. Hold. If we break back above 67, maybe 68, we could go up to 74, maybe 78. And if we don't, if we break down, lower low, 39, 31. Already did Apple. You can rewind. DHI. So far, came back to the target. If we can break up higher, maybe 170. If we break down below this, probably coming back to this level. Which the roadmap line may come right up to it at the same point, same time. Maybe that's looking like what might happen. That's like what might happen. All right. GS. Hanging. Prior resistance, current resistance. Upside 415. If we reject that, we're coming right back down, probably to 351. There's the downside target. There's the upside target. What we got right now. And it's kind of a coin flip. Like, I'd almost give that 50-50, up or down. It's almost the same distance. Not high probability. No high probability path on GS. Oh, Oxy. We're back in the Buffett buy zone. Is he going to buy again? Or are we going to push down and flush it out one last time here? 53 is where I would expect this thing to go at this point because of all this consolidation. All this consolidation. We need one nice flush out. It's been working on it, working on it, working on it. One more flush right down in the zone. Flush it out. Get lower low than anything we've had here so far. Then we can do something bullish. Right now, that's just a bearish chart, and this 50 to 53 area is what I would expect. Possibly on down to 44, but right now, really 50 to 53. That's kind of what I expect. And already did DHI, did GS, did OXY, URA. Still 35 and 40 on the upside. Nothing changed. Long-term pattern. It did the bounce. Next upside, 35 and 40. Nothing changed. Snow. It's I watched an interesting thing on Snow. They got some data center technology that might be up and coming, but this chart is not very bullish at the moment. That's 3 waves up. That's 3 waves down. This is looking like 3 waves up again. God, I just don't like this pattern. I just don't like it. I can't help it. 3 wave up, 3 wave down, 3 wave up, right to the 100% echo. Ugh. Come on, man. That was the lowest low, up, lowest low, still. Oh, man. That looks like it needs another flush. Looks like it needs another flush. Can it just snap out of this and go higher? It could. It's very choppy, overlapping. That move up and this move up match at this point. Could get an extension of 243. Then it could retrace this out. I don't even see a situation where this might be a leading diagonal at this point. It's just so choppy. But right, 243 on the upside, and watch out for a retrace back down. Possibly even lower low. So IPOs are not bullish. And there you go, lower low. That could be the low. But this, look at that. That looks more like a 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can flush it out 5th. Because that looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. This looks like an A, a B, and this is the C with a 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Looks like it needs one more flush to a lower low than we had right back here. That's a big wave 4. I would bet sooner or later. I'm actually going to send alert. I would buy it if we get back in this 120 area, 100, 120. I'd probably buy a long-term position because that's probably the final flush out before this goes thermonuclear higher. Can't project the higher, but it could be pretty wicked. All right. That's Snow for you. Hugh. These guys do the storage unit things. Yeah. That's interesting. Keep smart. They do storage unit, right? Self-storage, yeah. Yeah. That business is having a little bit of trouble. And you can see it on the chart. Where would the 3 waves be? That's a good question. That looks pretty gnarly. That could have been an A wave down, a B wave retrace. Could get one more move down. Just not sure. It's not very clear. We don't end on 3 waves. Like that would be a 3 wave down. That's unclear and probably going lower. Probably gonna make a lower low then right here. Could be the low. Probably like so if it retraces into this zone right here and turns up and breaks out again higher than here. Then it's probably going to be bullish, like really bullish. Like probably that much bullish. But it's not clear. Incredibly difficult on Cube. Anyway, to the next area, yeah. Got the cyber check for a month. I was telling them, wrong. I was telling them. BA. We got a few people in Knoxville here. I have a few followers. Watch me from Knoxville. Not a lot of people on the stream though. Only about 80 right now. We'll probably get lots of replays. If you're new, if you're brand new to this stream and you've made it this far and you're watching the replay, let me know. If you're watching live, let me know. If you're brand new, never been here before, I appreciate all the new people. BA still think we're gonna flush one more. Still expect it lower. We did a retrace to the roadmap line. We haven't hit the 50 or the 618. Like that's actually where I expect this to go. Pull up right in there. Alrighty, SBA for you. CHWY. Oh man. Amazon's got it out for this company. I don't know if you knew that. Amazon's trying to put them out of business. They apparently gave them a buyout offer way back when. They declined. So now Amazon's gunning to put them out of business. That looks like what might happen. 14, possibly 3 below that. And AMAT. The Knoxville showroom is just at the West Town Mall, if you want to, for Tesla. AMAT right there. You don't need an appointment. You just go see it. 180 right up there. Probably the upside target for AMAT. Then watch out for retrace. That was a big head and shoulders. I called way back here. I thought it might take a while, and it's still taking a while. So watch out when we get up to 190. And now is right near their extensions, and we'll probably see a retrace off service now. And TES, I covered this morning, doing a bunch of nothing. If we can break back above this little zone, probably heading up to 128, maybe 141, possibly the big target up here, 156. But if we reject it, break back below the roadmap line, watch out below. Simple as that. Not very simple, but simple as that. We already did SYM, PGR, upside 189, and we probably need another one of these retraces. That was the big retrace. Got a little one right there, and 180, 185, 189, somewhere in this zone. Probably be the most I would expect right now before getting a bigger retrace. That retrace could be something like this, or even one like this. Maybe saying no way, but yes way, Jose. Watch out. Watch out, watch out. Be careful. And ZN1. 10-year treasury. Right back to the roadmap line. Right where I thought we might go. And Do we bounce and go higher, or do we break down and come back down? That is the question. We will have support right here. I would... I can't say which one's more... It wouldn't surprise me to come down to right there and bounce and get continuation higher. Yeah. I'd give odds to going up, but it may go down before it goes up. I would expect a turn in this zone. Come off there pretty good. I expect it to come right down here. And that target zone right around there, 109.16, possibly 110, 4 or 5. Yeah, there you go. SWBI. Short term, just choppy. Long term, it's pretty bullish. I bought this baby a year ago down here. And we've got to break out above this zone to go big term bullish. I just have shares. Right now, it's just grinding, overlapping. It's got to get above this resistance. If it does, we have this larger pattern. Move up, trace, bigger potential move up. That's like 7 times your money. That's pretty dang good. But anyway, mRNA is going down in a blaze of glory. Expect that one to keep going down. They're talking about outlawing this stuff. Watch out. It's FDA, biotech. I mean, FDA is involved. This is biotech and FDA is involved. Do I think it's going down? Probably. It says support right here, 82. Hasn't even done a full corrective pattern at this point. Could bounce off of here and go higher. If it breaks down, it's probably going lower. TLTR. Sounded like it went right on up. Upside targets 23 and 25. Beautiful dreamer. It breaks back below here, coming on down here. At this point, it's a higher high. Could still be a B wave and still reach down. So be super cautious. 23, 25 though. 70% likely to hit 23 at this point. MDB. In the resistance, it's going to have a tough time getting above. It's already shown, it's already proven it's going to have a tough time getting above 470. Once, twice, 3 times, and that was resistance before, 4 or 5 times. It's going to have a rough time getting above there. That's the resistance for MDB. JD. JJJD is in the dumpster, going down in a blaze of glory. Man. Wow. China stuff for you. Why don't trade China? Well, it's not going negative. Let's try that again. Yes, there's no downside target. That's Pretty rough. Yeah, so that one may go out of business. The only support I can offer is right there. 19. If we get below that, no man's land. Maybe like, yeah, but they make money. Yeah, but it's China. They can just make up the numbers. It doesn't matter. PAL. Hanging at resistance. That could be a retrace. Ew, this is nasty. Watch for that to break down. It's really nasty. If we break out, we could go up to 56, but breaking out is back above 43. Go to 56. If we turn down, get lower than 36, probably going to 21. Ew, that's a gnarly pattern. Gnarly EXR. Extra space. Well, that's basically the roadmap pattern. Break above, retrace, back above 156, 171, 179. Break down, maybe go in lower. Support would be down here. 126. Alrighty. Marvel, MRVL. Probably, ooh, we got back below the it's right in the resistance. If we break below that, or I mean support, right in the support, that was resistance going higher. Came right back down. That may retrace back to here. This downtrend of highs before we can go higher again. And it's Marvell. And Celsius Holdings. CELH. Fingers. It's stiff. Ugh. And I haven't moved enough. Just been sitting here. Bump, 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 bump. That's kind of sideways. Yeah. Zillow looks like it wants to go down. It could break out, but it could retrace. I would like this. And if it just rocks higher, we got resistance right up there. And let's see. Oh, yeah. I want to show this off. For bonus for anybody hanging out. For all the hundreds of people left, you missed out on a potential bomber trade. I bought into this one today. Did I tell anybody? No, I'm telling YouTube right here. Don't tell everybody that wasn't here or didn't watch the replay. Right here. I bought this one on aggressively on this break above here. You know what was interesting? It has the potential to go up here to 38. And look at this. Look at that pop. Really beautiful pop right there. Let me show you something here. I should just right click and clear the drawings. Measured bounce. You know what the strongest emerging market economy is? EWZ. That's why I played it. So, there you go. That one, not as awesome a measured bounce, but Brazil's the strongest emerging market. And it has a measured bounce. So we may see that one pop up. You could play it with EEM if you wanted to. Probably up here in the 43, 44 area. Or you could play with EWZ. Probably up here in the 38 area. I mean, that to me, 33 to 38. That's a $5 move on a lower price stock than EEM, which was 39 to 44. Still like a $4, $5 move. 43 to 44. $5 move, but it's on a more expensive stock. So bang for your buck, EWZ. That's why EWZ. Not an EEM, I'm an EWZ. It's the biggest emerging market. They're super strong. Their economy has grown more than any other economy in the world, while everything else is kind of coming apart at the wheels. But it doesn't show up in their stock chart right now. This thing could actually break out and go. Actually breaking out of this big downtrend. Has potential to go up even more. So there you go. For the 60 or so people that hung out with me, I bought out April, I think it was. Cost me like $1. There you go. Hey, yeah, you got a prize for staying to the end today. I saved one up for you. I should have teased it, but I didn't. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you again in the morning for Morning Monster. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. And I leave you with my pictures of the Cybertruck. If I can find it. Right there. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Be back. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15 in the morning for Morning Monster. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like if anything I said was beneficial. I'll see you later.